Hi Cancer, welcome to your love reading for September 2019. Let's go ahead and see what you have going on for the month of September. This is a love reading for the sign of Cancer for September 2019. The first card that you have, Cancer, is the Two of Pentacles. Love reading for the sign of Cancer for September. Seven of Wands. Love reading for the sign of Cancer for September. Prince of Pentacles, which would be the Knight of Pentacles. Love reading for the sign of Cancer for September. The Hermit. Love reading for the sign of Cancer for September. Ace of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Cancer for September. Eight of Cups. Love reading for the sign of Cancer for September. Two of Cups. Love reading for the sign of Cancer for September. Ten of Swords. Love reading for the sign of Cancer for September. And Justice. What's the most important thing that Cancer needs to hear about their love life for September 2019? Five of Swords. So be careful, Cancer. The Five of Swords can represent just really bad decisions. I mean, there's really no way to sugarcoat this card. There's no way to make this into a beautiful message. It can be making just a very bad decision that comes back to haunt you. It can also represent a sense of sabotage. So we'll come back to this card and see how it ties in with the rest of the reading. If you would like a private reading with me, I'll put a link to my website down below, channeledguidance.com. Okay, so I see you have quite a bit going on here. You start with the Two of Pentacles. For some of you, it could be that you're dealing with a person, with a relationship where there are a lot of ups and downs. To me, the Two of Pentacles represents instability. It can represent someone who is being very wishy-washy, especially with something like this right next to it. The Seven of Wands. So the Seven of Wands is telling you that you have to really speak up. You have to really be firm with someone. Again, with the Two of Pentacles right next to it, it's like your love life is up in the air. You have more questions and answers, maybe as far as where a relationship is going, because you do have the Prince of Pentacles right next to it, which is the Knight of Pentacles. I feel like some of you may be feeling really frustrated because things are moving so slowly in your love life. And some of you may not have answers. You may be dealing with a person who comes and goes. There can be maybe another person involved. The Two of Pentacles can represent, kind of somebody juggling two relationships, keep going back and forth between partners. But it does represent instability. The sign of Cancer does not feel secure with the person that they love. And again, the Seven of Wands is saying, like, you have to really speak up for yourself. If you don't really let them know how you're feeling, that you're feeling, you're feeling used, you're feeling walked all over, then this is going to continue. So the Seven of Wands is saying, speak up for yourself. Things are moving very slowly because you're not doing that. Now, you have the Hermit here, which can represent the sign of Virgo. But the Hermit means that, there is a lot of thinking going on, and I feel like it represents you, because you've got the Ace of Swords here and the Eight of Cups. So I mean, with the Eight of Cups, it could be that you're considering moving on. You're considering turning your back on this person that is either giving you mixed signals, or this person keeps going back and forth, either because they want to be with you one day and then want to leave the next day, or there could be someone else involved. Some of you are considering leaving this relationship with the Eight of Cups, which is the goodbye card. I feel like the sign of Cancer in the month of September, you're searching for the truth. Maybe you're looking for answers from the universe. Do you belong with this person? Do you have a future with this person? I feel like if you do a lot of soul searching, if you really meditate on this, you will see the truth. The Hermit does represent truth. And again, it is a major arcana next to another message of truth. You have the Ace of Swords, which is mental clarity. So as far as relationships where you're thinking of walking away, you're thinking of saying goodbye, especially relationships where somebody's being wishy-washy, there's a lot of coming and going. Maybe there's someone else involved, and you need clarity maybe as far as what they're doing, or you need clarity as far as should you go, how do they really feel about you. I feel like you will have that clarity in the month of September if you really look for answers. Now you also have the Two of Cups. So the Two of Cups does mean that you do have, kind of a soulmate connection with someone. You're very emotionally connected to this person. And I mean, even though there are some issues here, I feel like you love them deeply with the Two of Cups. However, there is a sense of betrayal here. You have the Ten of Swords. So with the Ten of Swords, it is a message for some of you that maybe it's time to move on from this person. So you have that message here, and then you have the message here from the Eight of Cups. Some of you maybe are ready to leave this relationship where you have been deeply hurt. You've been betrayed. You've been stabbed in the back. For some of you, it could be that maybe there has been a betrayal with another person since you start with the Two of Pentacles. Maybe they've been juggling two relationships. Let's not forget that the main energy for the sign of Cancer is the Five of Swords. So this can be that maybe your partner made just a very, very bad decision and maybe getting involved with someone else. For many of you, you have this soulmate connection. It could be that maybe they do love you. They just made a very bad mistake. But the Five of Swords can also be someone who is sabotaging your relationship. So some of you are feeling deeply hurt as far as the soulmate that you have in your life. And with this message, it is time to move on. For some of you, maybe you're choosing to leave the relationship. But it can also be that it's just time to move on from something painful, especially if you've already forgiven them, which I see here. Justice can represent an apology. Maybe you've already chosen to stay with this person who did betray you, but maybe you can't forget. Maybe you're having trouble moving on from what happened. You have a message telling you here that it's time to move on. If you chose to forgive them and stay with them, then it is time to really move on so that you can be happy together. But justice does represent that something is unfair to the sign of Cancer. So you have that message here, and you also have it here with the Seven of Wands. With the Seven of Wands, this means that you are being walked all over. Somebody is not treating you fairly. So you have that message here 2 times. For some of you, this can definitely be an apology coming to you from perhaps an ex who betrayed you, perhaps an ex who really hurt you. So I mean, so far here, I feel like the sign of Cancer is searching for the truth as far as a relationship. And some of you are trying to decide whether it's time to move on. Eight of Cups and Ten of Swords. Something is not fair. Seven of Wands and the Justice card. Something is not fair as far as perhaps somebody stringing you along. Somebody juggling two relationships. Or somebody that just keeps messing up and making very unwise decisions here with the Five of Swords. Let me get a few more. Let's see what other messages come up for Cancer. What other messages are there for the sign of Cancer for September 2019? Four of Cups. Messages for the sign of Cancer for September. Nine of Cups. Four of Pentacles. So, I mean, it's kind of interesting that you've got 2 fours here, because the fours do represent stability and a firm foundation. And you start with a card that's saying that you don't have that stability. Again, the Two of Pentacles is instability. Everything's up in the air. And for the sign of Cancer, Cancer would not like that, because Cancer likes security. So some of you may be really unhappy, which we see right here, that you can't count on a partner that you're with, or you can't count on the soulmate that you're in love with. Maybe they've let you down so many times, and maybe that's why you're thinking of leaving. So I get that from the 2 fours. But I do see a lot of happiness here. So this is potential between you and the person that you love. The Nine of Cups does represent a wish being fulfilled. So this would be a wish maybe for them to settle down, for them to stop messing up, for them to stop making mistakes, for them to stop hurting you. This is you being immensely happy. But there is a sense of just being very unhappy here. Maybe you're bored with the situation. Maybe you're tired of trying with this person. Maybe you're tired of waiting, hoping that they're going to change, because you have the Four of Pentacles here. This is someone who is not budging. This is someone who is just being really stubborn and holding back from you and just wanting to keep everything the same. And I feel like the sign of Cancer is not having that anymore. I feel like some of you are considering moving on from someone who is just stringing you along. Okay, let's get a few cards from the confirmation deck. What other messages are there for the sign of Cancer about their love life for September 2019? Page of Wands. What other messages are there for the sign of Cancer for September? Four of Cups. So this is a repeat card. What other messages are there for the sign of Cancer for September? And the Star. What's the most important thing that Cancer needs to hear about their love life for September 2019? Justice. So Justice is also a repeat card, which is right here. Same card, different deck. So again, I mean, it could be that you're dealing with a Libra, which is represented by the Justice card. But justice just means that you're not being treated fairly. Something is not fair to you. Again, tying in with the Seven of Wands, and especially everything is not just the Seven of Wands, it's everything else that I see in this reading. The Two of Pentacles, the Four of Cups, the Ten of Swords. My goodness. Something is not fair to the sign of Cancer, but this can also represent an apology from an ex, or it could be that maybe your partner is apologizing for their behavior. Maybe they're apologizing for stringing you along, for giving you mixed signals, for making your relationship so unstable, for making you doubt them. Something is not fair to the sign of Cancer. Okay, so let's look at these 3 cards. This is a repeat card. Again, same card, different deck. So the sign of Cancer is feeling unfulfilled. Some of you are just tired of the nonsense that you're seeing from this person in your life. The Four of Cups is like you've seen so much, you've dealt with so much that you almost don't care anymore. You're numb. Maybe you're used to this behavior where it's becoming kind of the new normal for your marriage or your relationship. There can be change. You have the Page of Wands. This is a positive change. This is adventure, excitement. This is you and your partner on a new path. You also have, I just noticed that you have the Star card and the Nine of Cups. They're very similar because this is the Wish card and this is a major arcana of hopes and wishes being granted. So again, even though you're dealing with someone who maybe is stringing you along, I keep getting that, mixed signals, maybe even someone who's juggling another relationship, your hopes and wishes as far as, you know, this soulmate that I see in your life, they are valid. So this person can change. But I feel like the sign of Cancer is, I mean, you're tired of this. You're tired of waiting. Okay, let's see what else stands out here before I move on to the X spread. So, like I said, you have the Hermit and the Ace of Swords here. So this is about truth. It could be that you want to hear the truth as far as maybe why they're not committing. You want to hear the truth as far as, you know, what mistakes that they made. Maybe for some of you, maybe it has nothing to do with another person. Maybe they just keep sabotaging your happiness as a couple. Some of you are searching for the truth here. It could be that you're also just trying to figure out, do you truly belong with this person? Is there someone better out there for you? The month of September is going to give you that clarity with the Ace of Swords being here. Just keep an open mind. That is the energy of this card. Keep an open mind as far as maybe even moving on if you feel that's what you have to do. The Ace of Swords can also be a change of perspective, and this can be your soulmate. It could be that your soulmate is figuring out that they're just hurting you, they're losing you, and they're ready to make the changes that they need to make so that you can stay together. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the X spread using this deck right here. I've already shuffled it, so let me just get these out of the way. And as always with the X spread, it can be someone that you had a long-term committed relationship with, but it can even be someone that you maybe just dated a few times and you want to know if you're going to hear from them again. Let's see what comes up for you, Cancer. Cancer and their ex for September 2019. The Hermit. So this is a repeat card from the first spread. Cancer and their ex for September. The Eight of Pentacles. Cancer and their ex for September. King of Swords. Cancer and their ex for September. Six of Wands. Cancer and their ex for September. Death. Cancer and their ex for September. Knight of Wands. Cancer and their ex for September. Ten of Cups. Cancer and their ex for September. Queen of Swords. So interesting that you have the King and the Queen of Swords. Cancer and their ex for September. And Seven of Swords. Okay, so like I said, you have strong air sign energy here. Let me just move you up a little bit so I don't lose my camera. Queen and King of Swords. So for those of you where you have an ex who is an air sign, Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, male or female, sun, moon, or rising, this is definitely speaking to you, but the King and the Queen of Swords also They also just represent people who are not in touch with their emotions. Someone who analyzes the hell out of everything, and they don't trust their intuition. They don't like to deal with emotions. Someone who's almost cold-hearted. So if that describes your ex, and this is just maybe the energy that they're in. So, I mean, you're starting with the Hermit here. So you did have the Hermit in the first spread. Here it is. So this can be a Virgo, but the Hermit just means that there's a lot of thinking going on, which definitely resonates with the King and the Queen of Swords. Like I told you, this is a lot of thinking and analyzing. It can be that your ex is doing a lot of thinking right now, maybe about trying again, because I mean, you do have the Death card right in the center of the reading here. The Death card is a huge change, a huge transformation in the relationship with your ex. And you look at the energy around the Death card. The first one is the Six of Wands, which does represent victory. This is getting past any obstacles that have been blocking you and your ex from being together. And then on the other side of Death, you've got the Knight of Wands. This is someone who is eager to move forward. This is someone who's ready for action. I feel like your ex is just maybe planning right now, thinking, like maybe, did I make a mistake? I mean, my goodness, the main energy from the first spread was a mistake. The Five of Swords, sabotage. So it can be that your ex maybe is thinking back on what they did. They're so searching as far as like maybe, will you forgive them? You did have the Justice card 2 times. I feel like, you know, they're ready. When the time is right, they will be ready to work on the relationship. You have the Eight of Pentacles here. This is someone who's willing to put in a lot of effort towards repairing their relationship, towards this victory, this big transformation. So I feel like, you know, it could be that your ex is going through some stages here where they need time to think in order to get here, because the Knight of Wands is all about action. This is someone who is going after what they want and who's not going to stop until they succeed. And there will be a huge transformation in the relationship with your ex. Now you also have the Ten of Cups here. So the Ten of Cups is just happiness. This is your happily ever after with your ex. For those of you where you really want to reunite. But you also have the Seven of Swords here. So the Seven of Swords, I mean, this can definitely be deceit. So for those of you maybe where you broke up because there was deceit, it could be that maybe they're still thinking of this. You have the Queen of Swords right next to it. But the Seven of Swords, it also just means that someone is their own worst enemy, which definitely makes sense with the main energy from the first spread being the Five of Swords. This is someone who sabotages, and this is someone who is their own worst enemy. Keep in mind the Seven of Swords can also just be that your ex is in denial right now. Maybe, again, they're thinking about this. They're soul searching with this energy from the Hermit. They're soul searching as far as, are they going to try to get you back? What are they going to do? I feel like the sign of Cancer could be very surprised in the month of September that you see this change in your ex, especially if you've already gone through this phase of maybe not communicating, of your ex kind of being in denial, being their own worst enemy. This is someone who's just looking away. Because you have this in, you know, kind of in the middle here around the Death card. The Death card is, you know, this is a big shift in your relationship. This is, you know, a wake-up call. This is a significant development, and it is, again, it is surrounded by victory and someone taking action. So for the sign of Cancer, it can be that your ex has maybe already done a lot of soul searching, and they're ready to take action in the month of September. Let's get a few more cards so we can get a little bit more clarity on this. What other messages are there for the sign of Cancer about their ex for September? Ten of Swords. So I'm pretty sure you had this in the first spread. What other messages are there for Cancer about their ex? What other messages are there for the sign of Cancer about their ex? You also had the Fool. So, I mean, you have an earth sign here. You've got a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn. Male or female, sun, moon, or rising. Keep in mind that you also have the Hermit, which represents a sign of Virgo, and this was also in the first spread. But you've got an earth sign here. This can represent you also if you have a moon or rising and an earth sign. But you've got someone here. This is your ex who can't let you go. You've got the Ten of Swords. And I'm pretty sure that this card came up in the first spread as well. This is just someone who can't let go. This is someone who cannot move on. Usually, you know, with the Ten of Swords, it is, you know, there has been something painful. Yeah, here it is. I was looking for it, and here you go. So this is a repeat card as well. So for those of you where you have an ex who is an earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, male or female, sun, moon, or rising, they've been unable to move on. Just because you haven't heard from them, that means nothing. They're probably reflecting on their behavior here. They're doing a lot of soul searching. Maybe they're realizing that they screwed up. I mean, 5 of Swords and 7 of Swords. Somebody made a very bad decision. Your ex here has not yet moved on. And it could also be, you know, that there was a betrayal. There was a lot of pain. But you do have the Fool here. So there can be a reunion. And the Fool is also in the first spread. So, I mean, this is significant for you. So those of you where maybe you feel like you can trust your ex again, you want to try again, the Fool is saying you're going to have to trust your heart and your intuition as far as, do you want this person back in your life? This is a risky new beginning. Okay, let's go ahead and get a few more cards from the confirmation deck. What other messages are there for the sign of Cancer about their ex for September 2018? What other messages are there for the sign of Cancer about their ex for September 2019? Cancer and their ex, September. Okay, let's see what comes up for you, Cancer. Cancer and their ex for September. You've got the 4 of Pentacles, which was in the first spread. Cancer and their ex for September. 2 of Swords. Cancer and their ex for September. 8 of Swords. Somebody's not taking action. I mean, all of these cards, they all have kind of a similar energy of someone who's refusing to make a decision, someone who's refusing to do anything. So I feel like, you know, when it comes to your ex, I mean, there's a stalemate here. Nobody is taking action. Maybe everybody's sticking to their guns. Everybody's sticking to their story. It's your fault. No, it's your fault. And because of that, nothing is happening. I mean, that's what I see with these 3 cards. So again, with the 4 of Pentacles, this is someone who's staying put. This is someone who's saying, nope, I'm not moving. Maybe I'm not changing my position. I'm not going to change. Maybe there's certain things that you want to change about your ex, and they're saying no. They're not willing to change. But it can also just be that they're just, you know, they're protecting themselves. This is a card of fear. And you also have, again, the 2 of Swords. So it can be that maybe what happened with your ex is, you know, very complicated. You did have a complicated spread in the first spread that I did for you. Maybe you considering maybe moving on, forgetting about them. The Justice card came up 2 times. You had the 2 of Pentacles. Maybe this was a relationship that was always, you know, very scattered, very unstable. But yet, you know, there was that soulmate connection. So with the 2 of Swords, it can be that, you know, it's just a very complicated story between you and your ex. Even though you do have, you know, that soulmate connection, someone is refusing to take action. It could be that your ex maybe is just, they're just not ready to apologize. They're reflecting with this Hermit here. And you did have that similar energy in the first spread. I think the Hermit was here and the Ace of Swords here. It could be that that represented your ex trying to gain clarity as far as taking this action. Because I do see them eventually. For those of you where you're meant to be with this person, eventually your ex is going to wake up. They're going to snap out of it. And they're going to take some type of action to get you back. It could be maybe they don't know what to do. You've got the 8 of Swords, which does mean that, you know, someone is just in a mental prison here. They feel tied up. They feel like this is beyond their control. Maybe they don't think that you will forgive them. This is someone that just says, I don't know how. I want them back, but I don't know how to get them back. I still love them, but I don't know how to get them back. This is someone who just feels really trapped. Now, for those of you where you have, I don't always get this, but for those of you that you have an ex who's with somebody else, it could be that maybe they don't know how to get out of that relationship. I mean, that would definitely tie in with the 2 of Swords. They're stuck maybe in a relationship where they don't know how to remove themselves. from that person. Let's see what else I see here. So, I mean, I do feel like your ex, the sign of Cancer, I mean, there is a lot of thinking going on. They're trying to figure out the truth. And again, because this was the same card from the first spread, the Hermit and the Ace of Swords. Here you go. Here's the Hermit. It's like, you know, your ex is trying to figure things out. And I feel like, you know, they've not let you go. The Ten of Swords is someone who is unable. They're unable to move on. They've been unable to forget what happened between you. And there is a chance here for a new beginning with this person. But again, this is a risky new beginning, a risky new opportunity, no guarantees. You just have to jump right in and trust that it's going to work out. Be careful that also, this could also represent you. Be careful that you're not making excuses for your ex. And with the Seven of Swords, this can be maybe someone is in denial. Someone does not want to see the truth as far as maybe what happened between you. I'm going to do something that I've not done for the other sign, so hopefully they don't click on this video and then think, why didn't she do this for us? I'm going to gain some clarity from this deck right here for the Court card. So that would be the King of Swords and the Queen of Pentacles here. So let's see what the energies are around these two people. Show me the energies around this King of Swords. What does this King of Swords represent for the sign of Cancer and their ex? And I like this deck because it gives you kind of an idea of, like, is it a good idea to take this person back? What is this person, you know, it gives you an idea of what their motivation is. Is this person even worth your time? What does this King of Swords represent for the sign of Cancer and their ex? Who is this? Show us the energies around this King of Swords. Short term. So, I mean, this is why I wanted to gain some clarity. For some of you, it could be that, you know, this King of Swords, which again, this is someone who is, if they're not an air sign, a Gemini, a Libra, or Aquarius, if that's not your ex, it can be that this person is just, they're not in touch with their emotions. And for Cancer, I mean, I know Cancer because I am a Cancer. That's not going to work for you. Someone who is not in touch with their emotions, that just, it won't work. And it could be maybe the relationship was just meant to be what the card says, something short term. Maybe, you know, this person was meant to be in your life for a specific reason. Maybe that reason, you know, has been accomplished and you're ready to move on. Let me look at the Queen of Pentacles now. What does this Queen of Pentacles, this earth sign, possibly mean for the sign of Cancer? What does this Queen of Pentacles represent for the sign of Cancer? What does this Queen of Pentacles represent for the sign of Cancer? Triangle. So, I mean, I have mentioned in the very first spread that I did for you, the Two of Pentacles was the first card. And also here, you've got the Two of Swords. There can be someone else in the picture. It can be, you know, that maybe you want this person back. And, you know, maybe they've not been able to let you go. But there's someone else involved. There's someone else in the picture who maybe is not allowing them. That could be what I was seeing here. Not allowing them to come back to you. So for some of you, there is a triangle here. It can be your ex, but it can also be you. Maybe, you know, there's someone else and you don't know how to kind of get this person back in your life. You don't know how to remove yourself from a relationship you don't want to be in. Now, I also want to look into the Hermit because this card was in the first spread that I did for you. And this does represent the sign of Virgo. I feel like I should look into that as well. What does the Hermit mean for the sign of Cancer? What does the Hermit mean for the sign of Cancer? Let's see. Control. So, I mean, it can definitely be that, I mean, that would definitely explain the energy of the sign of Virgo, which is represented by the Hermit. The sign of Virgo does not like to be controlled. It could be that this person, again, maybe, I mean, Virgo and Cancer are very compatible. But again, it can be that maybe this person felt that, you know, maybe you were holding on too tight to them, especially if this was someone maybe who was pulling away from you, maybe who broke up with you for those reasons. It could be that this person just needs some time to themselves. Again, I see them reflecting here, and in the first spread, they were here with the Ace of Swords, trying to gain clarity on your relationship. Again, it could be that maybe there was too much control in the relationship. Maybe they thought there was too much jealousy. But this person is still thinking of you and trying to understand, maybe, should I go back to the sign of Cancer? Can it work the second time around? Okay, Cancer, this has been your love reading for September 2019. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll speak to you again next month.